Mayfield, Love, and Jackson. Because you have to also think, Jackson was not in... When we were talking about potential Heismans, Jackson wasn't being mentioned until the end of the year. He'd pop up every once in a while, but he'd fall off. With that Boston College loss, fell off the radar. With that Wake Forest loss, again, fell off the radar. And then he emerged himself back in. If it wasn't for Saquon Barkley having his skid, Lamar Jackson wouldn't even have been invited. I'm going to put it to you that way. It would have been Mayfield, Love, and Barkley. If Barkley didn't hit the skid.
I don't think so, because I have a hard time believing that the Heisman candidates would be 2 running backs and a quarterback. There's no way that they're going to let there be only one of the most important position. Well, it would be 2 quarterbacks and Saquon Barkley.
Listen, the NCAA, and for the most part, most football, critics, supporters.
If it wasn't for Sam Darnold being an idiot, it would have been Darnold winning the Heisman.
Yeah, but I also, listen, we give a lot of credence to the most important position on the field. Yes, you can't argue it is the most important position on the field.
I can make an argument.
Because of what it is. But the end of the day is it needs to stop being weighted so high. There are players that are at other positions that are equally as important and as impressive, if not more so than quarterbacks at times, especially in college football.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we default to the quarterback.
Good examples. Who would you say was more important to Penn State? Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley?
Barkley.
Hands down, Saquon Barkley. Yeah. Even when he wasn't playing well, it's because they had 3 guys on him and left it up to Trace McSorley to make bad decisions, which he did a lot of times. Mm-hmm. We saw it against Ohio State. They shut Saquon Barkley down after the first half.
Well, they made McSorley beat them.
Yeah,
that was their game plan going in,
and he couldn't.
The get-go. Well, he couldn't. Once the thing is, he showed his flash right out of the bat, and that was when Ohio State went. This is why I told you to stop him. Okay, the rest of the game plan, whatever you thought it was going to be, it all starts. It's all going to be stop Saquon Barkley. If somebody else beats us tonight, fine, but he won't.
If it wasn't for Northwestern, Penn State would have gone undefeated. I truly believe that. Northwestern showed the blueprint on how to stop Saquon Barkley.
They certainly helped because they shut Saquon Barkley down in the first half.
And the first 3 quarters wasn't until 2 minutes into the fourth quarter that he busted a 50-yard run.
Yeah, and that changed the element. But we kind of knew that Northwestern, watching that game, I didn't believe Northwestern could hang around. I think that they expended all of their effort through those 3 quarters, but there was no way they could have done it over the longevity. Ohio State had the talent to be able to do that over the longevity.
And then Dan O'Shea, when we were watching the game, we were messaging, the next most important player was obviously that left tackle. Because once he went out...
Gone, man.
Once he went out,
changed.
That didn't help.
It was like the Saxonville Jaguars were there.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it was night and day.
Yeah.
Nick Bosa was getting to Trace McSorley at will after the left tackle went down.
It went from
Penn State in serious control.
It went up 3 to 3.5 seconds of time before getting hit.
To a half.
Yeah, to 1.5 seconds, which is snap the ball, take a drop back, get hit.
Yeah.
Although
you don't even have time to get through your first.
You can understand that too, but I mean, if you were a left tackle, let's just say you were a left tackle at Penn State and you were on the sidelines, you had no intention of playing in this game, and then all of a sudden the guy in front of you goes down like that. Do you really want to be the guy that answers the call to be like, okay, now I have to go up against Nick Bosa?
No, but what
that kid was probably pissing his pants.
No, but what any smart team should have done
is compensate for it. Yeah, but
it's okay, our starting left tackle went down. We have a very solid starting right tackle who is going to play left.
That's tough.
Yeah,
though.
Tell that to Flowers.
In game to switch over. Usually, when you lose your left tackle, you wait until the next game. You have them practice. You have the right tackle practice.
Right tackle to left tackle is not an easy transition.
You have to completely switch all your instincts.
But all-American right tackle is better than second-string left tackle.
That may be true.
Same game.
Either that.
It's a completely different position. You're going to get a ton of penalties. You're going to get false starts probably.
Either that or I'm telling Mike Gesicki, we love you as a receiver, but you're blocking left side entire game.
Yeah, that they should have. The tight end
should have put him there to at least chip block, double team, whatever that kid needed.
Or just even try and trick him. put him in a slow motion, then when the play is snapped, his job is linebacker coming through. Because it was Nick Bosa on every play. Their
game plan should have shifted to stop Bosa and then, let someone else beat us, as we were saying for
or speed option.
Yeah.
You have the best running back in the country.
McSorley seemed to make the wrong decision on
every play. Single play.
He did it, later on in the season too, multiple times.
There were 3 plays in a row. McSorley handed the ball off to Saquon Barkley, and he should have run it. And he should have run it. If he had ran to the right, busted 40-yard touchdown because the defensive end crashed down, and who...
it's a split
corner's not going
to... It was crazy how much...
a freshman corner's not going to take down Trace McSorley. It's not going to happen. All right. The next play, he keeps it, the middle of the field opens up. Like perfect. Like parting the red friggin' sea. Bosa's on his ass, and it's just, he keeps it, and he runs to the outside. Oh.
Well, hindsight's always 20/20.
Well, the problem is it's not hindsight. The problem is it's quarterback vision that he failed at. All right. So I don't know why we're talking about Trace McSorley. He's not one of the 3. So you think it's going to be Baker Mayfield?
Baker Mayfield, Love, Jackson.
I don't care who he loves. It's clearly not Kansas.
Well, obviously not. He made that abundantly clear.
All right. This was a good first half. No better way to get to the next half than to talk about our boy, future NBA MVP, Lon's Goat Ball.
He was showing some flashes of doing well, but since our last episode, he's regressed.
All right, listen.
Hard.
In order to be an MVP, you have to have people talking about you, even when you aren't actually doing anything. Alonzo has done just that. Over the last many weeks, Lonzo has been discussed at length on this podcast.
This is what we
by
resulted
us.
To. Are you kidding me right now?
Even though he hasn't done anything.
Isn't he hitting
he's doing so bad
free
that
throws?
your point is that we've been talking about him on this podcast.
He became an integral part of our show. Even before he stepped foot on an NBA court.
Shooting free throws like Shaq.
Even though he hadn't stepped 1 foot on an NBA court, this kind of elite media coverage proves that Lon's Goat Ball is your 2017-2018 NBA MVP.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. You're just too naive.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Can we talk about the Ball family for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
About how LeVar has stated.
Oh my God!
Yeah, he's getting his
son out of UCLA. And he said, "I can get him more ready for the NBA than UCLA can."
He got his son to the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, but how does he plan on making his son ready for the NBA? If you were an NBA GM, are you going to take a gamble on a kid who doesn't play in college?
Yes.
I'm not going to take any of
on
Ball's children, so I don't have to deal with him.
Well, the argument is if his kids go overseas to play, then they're going to get the same kind of coverage that Ricky Rubio.
I am saying it right now. Right now.
I mean,
this
hold on,
kid
before you
will
say
not get drafted.
I was going to say, before you say it, I agree with you, no matter what you're going to say. No, he will get drafted. I guarantee it. Maybe not next year. Maybe not the year after. But he'll get drafted. Probably second round.
If he gets drafted, any team, I can assure you of this. I promise you this. Any team that takes him, I will be blowing up their Twitter.
Here's the thing that...
Blowing it up
the way
that
he looks
moment.
right now, I don't think he's worth drafting. He could walk on.
We don't know. We don't know. He hasn't played a game yet.
And we're not going to see him play a game.
There's footage of high school.
Yeah.
Magoo!
He's getting pulled from...
Unless your name's LeBron James, I don't need to see your high school reel.
That's not true. Tracy McGrady was beast. Kobe.
Okay,
Shaq.
I'm talking about the most relevant high school player. The last relevant high school player. And it was
LeBron. in all fairness, I don't... If they didn't have this one and done rule, Ben Simmons would be the new LeBron.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yes, he's an animal. I'm not going to... I can't really knock a guy who's on my fantasy team.
Yes, you can. John Wall, I don't care that you're hurt. Please, I need you.
I'm not even paying attention to our basketball.
Really
fantasy
quickly.
league until
No one.
I'm
football
playing
is
you.
over. I can't. I was trying and I just gave up until fantasy football is done.
Nobody's paying attention. Do you know how I can tell? Because Rudy Gobert was still there, and I picked him up.
Was it really?
Yes.
I keep seeing like, oh, you should pick up this person because like ESPN sends you push notifications, which is annoying, but whatever. And I'm just like, nope, I refuse. I'm not paying attention until at least my fantasy football season is over.
ESPN had LiAngelo Ball rated as a scout grade of 79. He was the 41 best player in his position. The 41st. He was 16th best player in his state.
Right. I don't pay any attention to high school recruiting and all that because let's just give an example that actually happened. Justin Fields, quarterback, apparently he's going to be the next Jesus.
Not a fair comparison. Basketball is completely different.
No, I'm just
completely different.
I'm using football because I don't
Right, but
pay.
you can't compare apples to oranges.
Well, no, because I don't pay
How can you
attention.
compare fruit?
I don't pay attention to college basketball recruiting.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the fact that it's a different sport. Don't give me a comparison when you're going to say football, whereas your individual skill set matters more in basketball than it does in football. You could be the unfortunate side of your play can unfortunately be downgraded much more because your football team isn't good enough or you lose the coaching staff or the program doesn't fit you versus basketball. Your talent's still your talent and you can take over a game.
Well, the reason I'm bringing up football is because the number one dual threat quarterback in the nation who just signed with Georgia is Justin Fields, decommitted from Penn State. I'm not sold on anyone coming in as the number one in any sport. Anthony Morelli was the number one player. Do you even know who Anthony Morelli is? Christian Hackenberg was the number one player in the country.
He's so good.
Football and basketball are different animals. Basketball, usually it pans out pretty close. There's very few that bust massively in comparison to the ones that are at least successful or decent in the NBA.
Well,
Is that true from high school to college, though?
I mean, when
that's the argument that I'm making.
I don't think any of us
when you see the
are
ranks,
educated enough to see how like 5-star prospects translate to college in
all I'm
NCAA
saying
basketball.
All I'm saying is that I've seen many times where the number 1 is not that good and the number 20 is way outshining them. I mean, he might have. He's only. What position does he play? He's point guard?
I don't know his position. I don't care enough about the balls to actually take interest in how they do.
The reason I ask is
I'm always checking my balls.
If he's a point guard, then clearly he's not going to have the same ranking because Lonzo played on the same team. Well, Lonzo was there for 3 of the 4 years, or he was there for 3 of Lonzo's 4 years of high school where Lonzo got the start. So obviously he's not going to be ranked as highly because he was only started for 1 year. So that ranking, is it only a 1 year? Are they taking into consideration all 4 years?
No, it's the 1 year.
Okay. I
mean,
Okay.
let me see what they do in college.
Let's look at this. All right.
He's gonna play college ball.
Here are the
No, he's
LeVar
not.
is talking out of his.
No, he's going to play overseas.
Here are the last college recruits that were the
Maybe
top
last season
10
he played.
that were number ones of their class. Jabari Parker, Stanley Johnson, Ben Simmons, Kyle Anderson, Harrison Barnes, Marcus Smart, Malik Newman, Michael Porter Jr., Shabazz Muhammad, and Lonzo. Those were your recent top 10s, or number ones in the last
About
10 years.
half of them
are pedestrian.
Well,
I mean, you got
Pedestrian, but we're
known.
talking about a guy who's 41st in his position, 16th in his state. These are number 1 guys who made it, and they are still pedestrian. You're telling me this kid is
does
that good?
But does that help his argument more or yours? Because if he's saying high school rankings don't matter, and
I'm not saying that they don't matter.
well, don't matter as much.
I'm just saying